Hi, YouTube. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good, not bad. I wanted to talk about the cruelty of narcissists and psychopaths in particular, but even people out here pushing like fear porn towards you. But I guess we'll keep it like on the personal level, people that you might have in your life that have questioned your better judgment for yourself, um, looked down on you, tried to shame you, laughed at you, whatever their little idiosyncrasies are. They're no, typically ego driven natures versus if you don't have like an ego driven nature. It's such a vast difference in personalities with people. um what I'm here to tell you today is let their laughter be your fuel. Every time that you've cried or any tears that you recall from things that were absolutely horrible, use that as your strength and keep this in mind. Um, they're the ones living in fear. They're, they can't close their eyes at night. They can't um, walk down a dark hallway without having to look over their back because that's who they are inside. They're always going to be in fear of being exposed and caught for the true nasty individuals that they are. So they're never really truly free. You and I have something inside of us that hopefully sometime they might acquire, but don't waste time on trying to explain yourself or live up to somebody else's expectations because that's just not going to be fulfilling for your life. And then ask yourself, like, say if you had somebody say shame on you. Oh, really? Let me delve into your life and let's just talk about the shame of one personality compared to another, shall we? Because they don't want to do that. The last thing they want is for to be exposed on how low of a vibration they actually live on. And that's more devastating to them. Just the fear of being caught for who they are. Just the fear, not the fact that you might be able to implant fears into them that they can't escape from because it's coming from the inside. It's not something that anybody's doing to them like they've done to you or me. No, this is something that's coming at them from the inside out. They could appear to have all the riches in the world, um, lake homes, oceanfront property, whatever these monsters desire, that type of thing. They might appear to have it all, but you have something, you have a strength inside you that they'll never acquire. They don't get you. They can't figure you out because you're unpredictable. They can't predict something they don't know, you know. Um and being unpredictable is one of the best weapons in the world. They'll never know what hit them, number one, but they won't even see it coming. You become the monster that they're afraid to face. A lot of people are like, oh, well, and I did say don't bother to try and appeal to their better nature. They don't have a better nature, but you can expose that for what it is. And um, I would take the time personally, which I do and I have, to point out their insecure flaws. If you're afraid that they're going to take their life because of their dishonesty and their lack of value for themselves or whatever, what type of substance are they made out of? Are they strong enough to handle what you're dishing out? Or I mean, I had somebody um threaten to threaten suicide a couple different times. Um, Once I was like, "Here, let me help you," that type of feeling. But in another one, I just called the authorities and said, "Nut job's in there trying to off himself, so whatever you want to do with it," kind of backed out of it, made him aware of what was going on, and you know, uh, but I don't have sympathy for the devils at all, never, at any time. Um, they're too easily controlled by their own desires. They can't control themselves in front of other people. They're criminal. I'm telling you, that's all they are. So, yeah. I was thinking of the thousands of times that I felt like crying because people were laughing at my demise. And I got back up and they fucking hate me. Every time I take something that was meant to destroy me and build on that and come out better than I was, um, for whatever reason, it does disturb them, you know. And you will rise out of any horrid attempt that they make or take to break you. You'll always rise out of it better in one way or another for it, whether it seems like it or not at the time. I'm not talking like physical beatings that we've taken um, by the men and women in our lives. Um, I'm talking about things you may not even be able to prove, things that people have done to you that their little devilish self sitting there, oh, we got her now. This is gonna break her heart. This is gonna break her. She's not gonna even be able to feed herself when we get done with her. That's what they're hoping too. Don't let that happen. Keep going strong. Take their laughter and realize that that smile that you thought used to be for you has nothing to do with you. It's the smile they put on for the rest of the world to try and disguise what filth is underneath it all, you know. So you just look at it and you're like, whoa, you know. When you used to think it was beautiful, you really do see the ugly seeping out of it like a festered pustule of a brain that's inside that shit. So that's what's on my mind today. I was looking through some old photographs I had. I put 7 years ago on this day, I posted a orange orb that has a gold band around it. I even made a little musical, a sky video musical, um, out of it, out of some of my shots but this orb followed me around. I could even see it in the nighttime sky, and I was telling Doug, and this was right in front of me in my on my property. It wasn't something out in the distance. It was like from here to that wall, which is about, 6 feet, maybe 6 feet in front of me. It's over in my community. You can look at it, say whatever you want. I saw this thing in the sky for quite some time, but it was right there. I seen a lot of things um that year, and a few years before that I saw some crazy things I could never even explain. I couldn't prove it if I didn't have the video footage or the still shot of that thing. I'd never be able to explain it to you. An orb with a gold band around it, and I felt like I was getting some sort of download. Also, I put a picture of my baby wolf that I got. His eyes were just opening on that picture, but he couldn't see yet, and they were still kind of blue, although they turned brown. But yeah, he was such a beautiful canine. I say was because I had to put him down. He was not meant to be around people, and he had person like go after him with a stick, and some other it turned him. So, and I didn't even, I took the animal because a friend of mine owed me in a big way, and he raised timber wolves, and they'd release them. And so I took one. I used to babysit them too, all the wolves. I'd go and take care of them. And couple of them I had in my front yard at one time changed to a pole for the day. I was just babysitting wolves. So, I mean, they were okay. They were under a shaded tree. There's great big canopy of trees and grass to lay on and food and water. They were fine. It wasn't like they were abused or anything. I was just babysitting them for a time, you know. But anyway, yeah. So it didn't turn out the way I had hoped. If I had been alone with my dog, it would have been one thing. And it's the same with the last little dog I had. Anytime you're around an animal and a narcissist, that animal is not going to be as obedient. They might become a little more intelligent, but there's a pain that's put on any living creature that comes in contact with the narcissist. I didn't even realize that until it was too late in my life, how these people will inflict, even on animals. And I'll never voluntarily get another animal around a narcissist ever again. And I started this when my um, cat died, my dog died, my horse died, all within 6 months. And I was not going to have another animal to care for in the house around anybody. But then this one little one I brought in with the broken shoulder and leg and stuff that I fixed up, she wouldn't have made it without me. So, um, and she's such a good little girl too, good little animal. But I would not go out and purchase or adopt another animal. I even had a neighbor that breeds golden retrievers. I do love them. Um, bird dogs are. I turned one bird dog into the best attack dog I ever had. My Irish setter was quick and big and badass. He was almost 100 pound, which is kind of unheard of. There, 60 to 90 pounds is about what they get. But his registered name was Dandy. Mick Barker, and he was something else. So anyway, and then I had a golden retriever, and the neighbors wanted to sell me one of their golden retrievers, and it's like, no. Doug's like, I think they just want to give it to you. And I said, no, they're just going to have to sell their pups. I mean, people get these dogs and they think they're going to breed them. And if I was breeding golden retrievers, like I did once with my Irish setter, I wouldn't be using those dogs because they're not prime specimens. Just saying, if you're going to breed them, you might as well have the best of the best before you go doing something like that. It's just the way I am. It's whatever. They're beautiful dogs, but not good enough. Just saying. If you're going to be a KC registered American Kennel Club, then you would want it to be top of the line, not second rate. And I told Doug that. He's like, well, I like Rusty. And I said, yeah, he's a beautiful dog. He's fucking stupid. He's little. He's disobedient. He doesn't stay in his yard. No, I don't want something from that type of bloodline. I couldn't even walk out of my house without my Irish setter right there. There was no way he was letting me out of his sight, you know. In fact, I taught him how to open the door and let himself out and back in. The screen door, not the um, security door, but the screen door. It had a latch on the inside, but it had the round part on the outside. That part was a little harder for him to get back in. He was standing out there crying, and I'm like, you can do it. And he kept crying. I go, no, sit. He sat down for a minute. I go, now look at it. Grab it with your mouth and pull it open. He grabbed it. I'm like, back up, back up. He got it open, it shut. I'm like, try again. He started crying again. I'm like, just sit down, look at it, grab it with your mouth. He comes running in. He was so freaking happy. So then he had both ways, you know. He was so obedient. I could take like I had an apple and he wanted one. I put it on the table. I said, don't touch it. You know, he sat there because one time he snagged a sandwich out of a cousin's hand. Cousin was sitting there of my exes. They had talking, and my dog come up and grabbed it out. So I had to really work on grabbed it out of his hand. So I put this apple on the table and I go, do you want it? He shook his head, yes. I said, sit down. I go, you're going to catch it, but you're going to leave it there for a minute. He started crying. I go, just shut up and stay there for a minute. He'd just shake when he couldn't get his way, but he was obedient, so he sat there. I said, so now I'm going to count to three. I'm going to grab it, and you're going to catch it, and don't drop it. So that's what I did, and snag, chew, 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 not one drop on my carpeting or anything. He was a good boy. But that's how I train a dog. And I'm talking even for hunting and that or attack dog. And that's not possible with any animal around a narcissist. The best you can do is get a pet rabbit, which I would telepathically get my rabbit to bite Doug. That's about the best you can do with any animals around a narcissist. Just saying. He didn't bite him hard, just enough to make him kind of scream. Good bunny. He was part mini satin and satin mixed, and I raised satins, and I had a giant Flemish bunny. Doesn't fit in the screen here. He was like, when he laid down, he was almost 5 feet long, but when I picked him up. He was like a 40-pound rabbit, big white guy with red eyes, and I have bunnies walking on leashes and using litter boxes and all kinds of unique, unique things. A lot of people don't know if you have an indoor rabbit, even outdoor. You have to regulate their body temperature because they fluctuate really quickly. The same with their hearts can get so startled they'll die from being scared to death. So you have to, they're sensitive. You have to really know what you're doing with bunnies, and they don't live long if you don't take care of them. Even like if you're in a warmer climate, you might want to take like um, hard plastic bottles and freeze them with water in it, and then your rabbit will lay down next to it and regulate their body temperature. You have to get them lava stone to chew on, because out in the wild they'll chew on rocks and naturally even eat some dirt. They eat a lot of stuff almost like a pig, but what happens is they saw down their teeth. They keep their teeth from growing. Otherwise, you've seen like pictures of other rodents, like a rat or something like that, and their teeth will grow long. So, yeah. Anyway, enough on the animals thing. We were talking about narcissists. Are they animals, vegetable, or mineral? Probably more like a vegetable. All you vegetarians out there should be happy. It's a little food for thought. So, yeah, don't let when people are trying to bring you down to their level. Oh, you can go there. Don't be shamed. I mean, if they piss you off, I can let it go. I don't mean let it go. I mean, let her rip. Give them what they deserve. That's what they're hoping that you're never going to do. They're hoping you'll never stand up for yourself and don't say anything because we've been taught to be passive. And if you say anything about what they're doing, then you're negative, all that bullshit. And that's exactly what it is bullshit, you know. So I also shared the information on how you can get the truth of what the scriptures are, not what people think they are, and the code that's in an older Merriam-Webster dictionary in the Masonic Blue Book, and when and how they wrote the King James to deceive people, and all about that, which I've talked to exhaustion. And well, now there's more proof out there of what I'm talking about is absolutely true. Like Lady Babylon here on YouTube and Jason from Archaics, they're both coming from a little bit of a different aspect. Jason is into numbers and chronology, calendars, and proving that we're living in a simulation that is mathematically controlled and predictable. And almonds coming from the standpoint of this is the proof through the language, and even the migration of these people proves a lot of things, like I made a point. Well, I heard the stupid term while they were saying like the Hebrew scholars were um it was called Hebrew Greek. What? Get out of here with what is it like if I'm English and I move over to France and I speak a mixture of that, is that called English French? Out of here. Greek is Greek. Hebrew's Hebrew. And the reason why they changed everything to coin terms back in the medieval times. And when the King James started doing his shenanigans, that's just one step on what it's been the whole time from what actually is the Greek Septuagint into other languages, and it can be proved through the chronology in the language. They don't like that. We got stupid fuckers on the run, and their games of controlling people and all that bullshit, acting like they're their king. Got a song for them. Metallica's King Nothing. Love it. If you haven't heard it, go look up the lyrics. It's beautiful. Uh, when I used to get upset, I just put on, and I got some house speakers out in the living room. I'd turn my whole house into a subwoof. You could just feel it verbiate through the whole neighborhood. So I would play, that'd be one of them that I would play if I was in a mood like that, you know. Otherwise, I'd probably play something nice that the whole neighborhood might enjoy. But yeah, I don't have them hooked up right now. I can, it would take me about 5 minutes to drown out any voice. Any voice. Yeah, that's what I was doing when I was doing that. Just what are they going to do? Keep talking if they can't even hear themselves talk? You know, that's always a good thing. So, if I had people around and I was like, if we were having a picnic or bonfires or something, I might hook it up depending on the crowd. You know, a bigger sound system than what I got right now. You can hear through the whole house anyway, but it doesn't use the house as a subwoof, you know. Sorta, but not like my other one when I do that. Some big Toshiba speakers, you know. So anyway, so I had them and I have two other smaller ones. Um, so with the four of them, they're just it's powerful. But anyway, with the system I got out in the living room. But yeah, I just made this my own little den. I mean, of course, I'm not gonna kick Doug out of his own living room. Well, my living room, but just made my own place in the house that people have to have permission to even come in around me because that's all secluded. I keep myself. I don't let people sway my better judgment. I'm not led by the ear or whatever. Um, like people think they manipulate me is what I'm trying to say. It's really the bottom line of this whole topic today is when they end up actually playing themselves because they don't understand what they're putting into the ethereal field and how I can use that against them. You know, they just don't get it, but they will when all this fear starts creeping in. I mean, it's there. It's there. They're afraid because I have some friends and we're coming for what belongs to us exclusively, that they take no part on or in. And that's what I recommend for anybody that has been belittled wrongly by devils. Take what's yours, use what's in the ether against them, and know that they have fears that they're not going to show the world. They're not going to show the world how afraid they are. Just like a bully. they'll be sitting there doing shit. But when you step up, I mean, there's some that I know, they know if they hurt me and then I can do something, they know they're going to get hurt. So they're going to fight. I've been around some of them, but there's others. When you step up, they cower. They back up because they know they're about to get hurt. Well, you may not be hurting anybody physically, and that's well and fine. It's truly not my thing. If it happens, it could be my thing at the moment, you know, but typically it's not my thing to want to cause physical harm on anybody. But for their abusive ways, physically, emotionally, whatever it's been towards you, um, to use psychological warfare against them with the powers that belong to you because they put you in that position. You didn't put yourself there. So any fears that they have can be played upon and worsened and actually manifest into their lives what they wished upon you, you see. And it's a real thing. Absolutely real. I'll have one more cigarette with you and talk for a little bit. So, yeah. And I want people to know this loud and clear. If I play a love song or something's kind of emotional or whatever it is, or if it seems like it's from the past or whatever it is, a lot of my songs I sing. Let's just say my spirit has a big brother, and my big brother, I'm not talking um, somebody that thinks they're in control of this world, the Baphomet, and no, I'm talking about my actual part of myself that isn't restrained like I am. That's what's coming for them. There's part of me that isn't inside this physical body, and it has male energy. It's not mine. Men and women are separate. It's just part of me. It's like having a child. It's not you. It's entirely something different, uncontrollable to them. That's what's out there. That's the energy out there that you can use for your benefit as long as you're not hurting people and you're attacked first. That's available for you to use their own fears against them. And and it's not just going to, that is not going to be just an emotional thing. This is actual shit coming down on them for what they deserve. And they've done to people for hundreds of years. Some of these families have practiced different crafts and arts to keep other people under control for different reasons, whether it's through banking or food or religion or um, could be sexuality, it could be academia, all the different ways that they try and control us, weaponizing love, that type of thing. So, yeah. So don't let it get you down. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say I haven't had sleepless nights wondering why would somebody that I loved or wanted to love be so cruel to me. But they're just ugly. They're ugly like that, there's nothing you can do about it. And once they show you who they are, there's no going back. That's who they are. You can't fix it. You can't beg it away, plead it away, cry it away. There's nothing you can do about it except become the warrior that you're meant to be and take what's yours on this planet, because at that point, they're subhuman and nothing here belongs to them. Nothing. They can pretend it does, but it doesn't. That's how they truly sell their soul, by not being who they are meant to be. And I am one that believes in that NPCs, non-player characters, and soulless ones actually do exist. You know, do you ever feel like you're carrying a part of a soul for somebody so they can put the actual fear in other people that they deserve? Well, I feel like that. And I don't only feel like that, I've seen the outcome of that actual thing. People that have harmed me. Oh, a little more on that story I was telling you yesterday. I just didn't walk into this biker's house. It wasn't quite like that. I had a platonic boyfriend for quite some time. Um, and he was friends with those people. And so that's how I got to know them to begin with. But um, yeah. So I didn't just walk in somebody's house and start doing their dishes, and it wasn't like that. But so that's the part I forgot to tell you. Yeah, it did seem a little odd after I was thinking about it. I was like, wow, okay, there was a gun on the table, and then I just went in and started doing the dishes. No, it wasn't like that. Anyway. So I've been around the worst of the worst, and I've been around people that were called the worst, and they weren't, you know. Um, yeah. When I met Doug, he had a bike. I thought he was scum of the earth when I first saw him. Um, we became friends in the weirdest of ways with understandings. We don't bow to each other at all. That is not going to happen. Ever. Ever. He's got his ways and things that he does on this planet. It's not acceptable to me. And I have put wrenches in a lot of things. But then there's times where you just kind of got to let it go and let them grow for themselves. Let them have the fears that they deserve. Um, yeah, because especially when people start getting older, they aren't going to admit that they're not worthy. They're going to keep pretending that they are, that they're good people and they're lovable and all that. But it's not true. And they will get theirs. They will. The biggest thing you can do with people like that is distance yourself. I mean, the only control they have over us is when we give that to them. If you're going to empathize with a monster, I'll become a dark empath, and I'll put it right back on you. I feel you. I acknowledge you, and thank you for teaching me who you are. Now let me implement my dark nature onto you and we'll see what's stronger: integrity, justice, righteousness, or filth. Yeah, we'll see what's stronger. Do you have a reason to become dark? Yeah. Can't you fluctuate? Aren't you multifaceted? Are you just one thing? Oh, I get it. You just have to be good all day long and let these monsters just walk over your head like it's a fucking rug, and you're just supposed to take it and suck it up. It's like there's a meme that says, well, we've all been taught, like, just walk it off or anything, like I'm going to break your legs and then tell you just to walk it off, you know? That's what's going to happen. Well, it already did, but there's more for each and every one of you that laughed at me and enjoyed my pain. You got yours coming. Because there are people out there like me that are taking back what truly belongs to us. And that's the sanity of this planet: righteousness and true friendship and goodness within people. And I do believe that is the deepest nature of most people. Most. But too many people have fallen into this cowardness. But they pretend they're strong, but they're cowards. If they're faced in a true battle, they'd cower in the corner while the warriors took care of business, you know. So become the monster that they fear. Damn right. And don't feel sorry about it, and do not be shamed to their level of vibration. They push you there. Well, there you are. Take your glory, say what you got to say, and go back to the happy you that you deserve to be without their lower vibrational interference. That's my recommendation, because if you keep it all bottled in and you don't ever say anything, you never have a chance to say what's been done or what people actually tried to do to stop you from succeeding. You have every right to speak upon your sorrows. And there are people that care about that, that are not going to laugh at your downfalls or your demise or any time you trip. It doesn't matter, because you're going to get back up and you're going to be stronger and smarter than they could ever conceive. So, all right, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you being here. Peace. Have a good night or day, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're at.